Alright guys, so we're back and my pinch pot sat overnight, and now we're going to go ahead and rib it. So I'm not going to start on the inside of my pot, I'm going to actually start on the outside. So I'm going to flip it over, and you're going to have to be really careful. And like I said, if you still have a lot of moisture in your pinch pot, then I would probably, find the blow dryer and shoot some hot air on it for about a minute or two. Have it on your turntable and just kind of spin it. And then we're just going to rib the outside very gently. Don't get carried away. I am applying a little bit of pressure, but as this continues to kind of set up, we'll be able to rib it more and more. It'll, the less water that's in it, the easier it becomes to smooth. So I'm just gently kind of getting these fingerprint marks out of here. I'm all the way down at the bottom near the rim, and I'm just dragging my rib up the top. And remember that you have your rib flexed to match the contour of the shape. So our pinch pot is round, so we want the rib to match that. And mine still feels a little bit wet, so you can see my foot is kind of caving in a little bit. So that would be your guys' sign that you need to dry it a little bit more. Mine will be okay, but if you have that issue happening, you might want to put some hot air on it for a little bit. So that looks pretty good, so I'm going to flip it over. And I'm going to go ahead and rib the outside one more time, but this time I'm going to hold it from the inside. So I'm pushing on that clay wall as I apply pressure on the outside. Because if I don't and I just do this, then you're going to alter the shape of your pot. So I'm going as far down as I can on that foot as I kind of bring this clay up. And I don't have the rib dramatically flexed, it's just slight on this outside. And then of course I'm going to rib the inside. So this time I'm going to use the rounded edge of my rib. And you can also use the fat end. So it's like that's what I'm kind of favoring at the moment. Still supporting the outside, applying pressure into the palm. And if you're bringing clay with you, that's quite all right. If your fingerprints aren't going away, then you're not applying enough pressure. Now I'm going to go with that rounded side. And this is going to help shape your pinch pot so you can push this out a little bit more because your clay was thick enough and it can handle this. I know a lot of times beginners are like, oh, my clay is getting too thin, but it'll be all right. I always tell, beginners about 1/4 of an inch. If you get any less than that, then you're probably going to run into problems. Especially if, you have a lot of moisture in your clay. So I'm just kind of working the inside of this pinch pot, getting rid of any fingerprint marks or unevenness. Again, making sure that this area between the foot and the wall, this is nice and round right here. You don't want it to have that 90-degree angle. So I'm just readjusting the shape a little bit. And then I'm going to go back in with my sponge and I'm going to smooth all of this out. Always supporting the outside wall. I'm going to go back in, and my rim is a little bit uneven, so I'm not going to worry about that at this moment. I want this pot to set up for a little bit. We want some of that moisture to leave before we go messing with it, because what will happen is you'll try to trim it or you'll try to adjust it, and it will just continue to become uneven, and it will be really difficult. So once some of that clay moisture has dried out, it becomes much easier to level out this top section. Okay, so at this point, when you store your pinch pot today, what I want you to do is I want you to grab a roll of paper towels, and you're gonna be like, oh my gosh, Miss Rush, I just spent all that time smoothing out this bowl, and now you're gonna make me stuff it with paper towel. But that's okay, because remember I said that the stiffer your clay becomes, the easier it is to smooth. So really, one of the reasons we were ribbing just now is really just to compress the clay. It was to kind of, smooth out some of your marks, but more importantly, it was to compress. So, but we want to stuff it pretty good. You might even want to put a little bit more than that, but it should kind of be up to the rim, and it should be, sturdy. So you shouldn't be able to press down, it goes all the way to the bottom, because this paper towels, what it's doing is it's supporting the foot so it doesn't collapse on you. So stuff your pinch pot. Flip it upside down. Do not spray this. I do want you to cover it, and then when you come back, we will fix up the rim, and we will smooth the rest of it out, and we will make some really cool handles in the next video.